मन को खोल जरा, अंतर मन टटोल जरा, खुल के हंस, कहाँ गई है तू फंस। न कोई बोझ न कोई भार, उड़ जा अपने पंख पसार। चुप्पी को तू तोड़ जरा, अंतर मन टटोल जरा। बोल दे गर कोई है परेशानी, न डर न कर तू कोई हैरानी। तन्हाई के मोड़ छोड़ जरा, अंतर मन टटोल जरा। Namaskar, and I welcome you all once again to Feminine. Today we are going to talk about something which is extremely important but not addressed very frequently, and that is mental health in women. So, the World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and emotional well being, and it is not just the mere absence of any disease. While we are very prompt to recognize our physical ailments, that is not the case, sadly, when it comes to our emotional and mental well being. Most of the times, people and especially women shy away from addressing these concerns. So, today I have with me on the talk a very special guest. I have with me Dr. Apala. She is a dear friend and an excellent psychiatrist, and so she is going to give us deeper insights into this topic about mental health in women. I welcome you, Dr. Apala. It's great to have you here today
Thank you,
with
Dr.
me.
Neha.
So, moving on with this conversation, Dr. Apala, how prevalent do you feel are these mental health problems in women?
See, Dr. Neha, mental health otherwise, if you're talking in general population, it's quite common. WHO itself said that 1 in 4 people once in their lifetime will have any kind of mental illness, and this is in general population. So when we're talking about women mental health, these are even more prominent. So we are talking about depression. It is in general population, it is 20% prevalent, whereas in women it is 40% prevalent. That is twice the normal prevalence. Then we are talking about anxiety disorders. These are also twice as common in women as they are in general population. All right, which is the normal prevalence would be about 20-25% of anxiety disorders, but in women it is about 45%.
Which is very high.
Extremely high, extremely
Yes.
high. Then coming on to eating disorders, which includes excessive eating or fear of fatness. Yes, fear of fatness.
Yes.
This is also quite common in women, 2 to 5% in specifically in women. Then definitely the reproductive health mental issues,
Yes.
premenstrual tension,
Yes.
the pregnancy and childbirth related disorders, and finally the menopausal disorders.
Yes.
These are extremely common as well.
Right. So, from what Dr. Apala has just told us, mental health issues are very prevalent in the society in general. If we go by the general prevalence, 1 in 4
Yes.
persons are going to have these issues at some point of time in their life, and women are more, I can use the word vulnerable to develop these problems.
Yes.
Are there any specific reasons that women are more common to develop these problems as compared to the general population?
Yes. So whenever we are talking about causation, there are 3 domains that we need to highlight: biological, psychological, and social.
Yes.
So women, when we are talking about their biological, psychological, and social milieu, we see that all the 3 domains are make them more vulnerable for mental health issues.
Correct.
Like the excessive inherent hormonal states.
Yes.
Okay, during the puberty, then in the entire reproductive life, also makes them vulnerable for mental disorders. Then the kind of psychological issues they have, all right, the constant pressures of life, whether it is personal, social, that kind of confidence that they need to have, those kind of issues also trigger a lot of vulnerability for mental health disorders. And finally, the social thing,
Yes.
the kind of social role they play in society.
Which is very multifaceted.
Definitely, too many roles they have to
Too many
play.
roles to play, and I think it is the if you try to achieve perfection in each sphere,
Yes.
then you're calling all these mental health problems upon
Yes.
yourself. That is very correct. So, can you elaborate a little bit more on the common mental disorders that we see in women?
Yes. So I think one of like the two most common disorders would be depression and anxiety that we can speak about today.
Yes.
Depression is one of the most common mental disorders otherwise as well. All right. So according to International Classification of Diseases, we have some major symptoms and minor symptoms, and any two major symptoms along with any two minor symptoms, if they are present for almost 2 weeks, we say that it qualifies for depression.
I
Okay.
didn't know the diagnostic criteria takes it only as 2 weeks. I mean, 2 weeks is a
Yes,
short
very
time.
short duration.
Yes.
Yes. So
Okay.
generally people think that depression is a very long lasting
Yes,
illness,
yes.
but it is not so. So the major symptoms are three. Okay, sadness of mood, low physical energy, and third would be inability to derive pleasure in previously pleasurable things.
Right.
Like if a woman liked to watch television and now she doesn't like it anymore.
Yes.
So those kind of things. So
Okay.
these are the three major factors.
Right.
And minor symptoms would be the appetite disturbances, the sleep disturbances, which may include excessive sleep and appetite or reduced sleep and appetite, both. Then hopelessness, helplessness, and worthlessness.
Right. Right.
All right, that impaired attention and concentration, which manifests as forgetfulness, easy forget. I kept my phone there, I can't remember where I kept it. I forgot to take the change back from the shopkeeper. Those kind of little disturbances in memory. And then finally, self-harming thoughts.
Self-harming.
Yeah, if a person feels that they don't feel the life is worth living anymore, or there may be some tendencies to commit some kind of contemplating some kind of self harm,
Yes.
that also is one of the minor symptoms.
Okay.
So those, if any two of those minor symptoms are present along with the two major symptoms, then we say that a person qualifies for depression.
Okay. So, of
Yeah.
the symptoms that you have mentioned, I feel that those are very commonly experienced symptoms
Yes.
by so many of us in today's lifestyle.
Yes.
Because the pressures are multiple. Women have to play so many roles in the household. They are a
Yeah.
mother, they are a wife, they are a daughter-in-law, they have their pressures, and
Definitely.
then there is the pressure to excel in the work area, the pressure of parenting to bring up children in the best possible way. So definitely these symptoms are experienced, I would say not uncommonly, but I think it is important to recognize them and not
Yes.
ignore them.
And the best part about it is very easily treatable.
Okay.
People are so afraid to get the diagnosis of depression because they feel I'm going to die because of this, or this. There is a lot of stigma around it.
So
You
there's
know?
still a lot of taboo around
Yes.
these illnesses, and that is why probably people are not very forthcoming in addressing them.
Yes. So that is why, and gone are the days when people would say that medications are addictive, or they are sleeping pills, or they are making me groggy or very foggy. It's not like that. If you look at them, they're very safe, they are very effective, and they really get you back to your normal self.
Right, right.
So I think one should be able to seek help.
Which is, I think, the most important point that both of us would want to drive home today. That
Yes.
if you have any of these problems, or if you are just not feeling up to it, I mean, there is help available.
Definitely.
One must talk about them, and excellent medical care is available these days. So that the life gets back on track as soon as possible.
Yes, and the second disorder we were talking about, which is very common in women, is anxiety disorder.
Yes.
Okay, so it is a broad spectrum in which there are multiple other disorders like generalized anxiety disorders, panic disorder, phobia, then there is social anxiety disorder. But overall, we talk about anxiety disorders as a broader term. And the common symptoms will be palpitations, that kind of uneasiness, ghabrahat, constant pacing around, that butterfly sensation in tummy, vague muscle aches, headaches. You always feel sore in your body.
Yes.
You always feel I'm on the edge. I'm always, thinking something. My mind is always racing and is never rested, even despite, good hours of sleep. So those are the symptoms of anxiety. Plus, there are two things. One is the somatic anxiety, which is the bodily anxiety.
Right.
You're shaking while talking, your voice is shaking, you're always pacing up and down. And then there is psychic anxiety, which is in your mind, the fears, the apprehensions, that my child may fall sick, my husband can meet an accident, I may never recover out of this anxiety. So those kind of things, those apprehensions in the mind. So we have to take care of both the parts, the psychic anxiety, which is in the mind, and the bodily anxiety, which is the somatic part.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And again, there is very good, safe, effective treatment available for it. Please see a psychiatrist as soon as possible. Open up about your problems. And sometimes I see patients don't really want to take medications for this, which is absolutely okay, but let that decision come from your psychiatrist or a trained mental health professional. Okay. And just be open to the idea, talk it out, seek help, and then probably once the doctor understands your problems, they would be the best to guide you on that.
Absolutely. And do you feel, Dr. Apala, that the last year, the corona pandemic,
Yes.
it has really shot up all the mental health illnesses among the population in general?
Yes, yes. So, depression and anxiety took a huge turnover in the last 1 year because, probably we were dealing with a lot of issues, health issues. Some people lost their family members, some people lost their jobs, kids have been sitting at home and, constantly hooked on to their screens. I mean, I see 9-year-old, 10-year-old with severe depression and anxiety because they're not moving out, they don't have a real social interaction with the outside world. So last 1 year has been really, really bad as far as mental health is concerned. And in fact, some people say that mental health is the next pandemic we are going to have.
Oh my God, that sounds dangerous.
Yes, it does. It is
That
quite.
sounds really dangerous. So, just very briefly, Dr. Apala, what is the way forward when it comes to dealing with mental health illnesses? Like,
Yes.
should the women, should they visit the gynecologist or a physician first, or should they seek the help from the psychiatrist first? Or what should they do?
See, generally, I think the best would be to actually go to a mental health expert, which is generally a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
Right.
Okay, so most of the people I think don't even understand the difference between the two. I'll just quickly tell that psychologists are the people who are generally doing the counseling part.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
they are graduates of like they are BA, MA, MPhil and PhD.
Right.
And that is how they become doctors. And psychiatrists are the MBBS and MD doctors.
The medical doctors.
The medical doctors, yes. And they are the ones who are diagnosing mental illnesses and then treating them via medications as well as the counseling part.
Right.
Because the load is so much, so we generally tend to refer the counseling to psychologists.
Yes.
Yes, but then I think psychologists are equally effective, in dealing with such
At least
situations.
that can be a start point.
Yeah,
Because as far as mental health problems are concerned, I think it's the start is to talk about it.
yes, yes.
And once even even if they reach the psychologist and they start their counseling, and then if that person refers them
Yes.
to a psychiatrist, I think the
Yes.
acceptance is also much more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And another thing could be that even all other even non-mental health professionals like a gynecologist, a physician, a neurologist, a neurosurgeon, even these can be the ones to identify at least depression and refer then the patient to the mental health expert.
Absolutely.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
So to just sum up and conclude this talk, mental health illnesses are extremely common in the society. B, they are more common in women as
Yes.
compared to men. There are specific reasons. The way women are, brought up and groomed in our society, and the way the values are instilled in them, and then the way they go through the hormonal variations through various time points from puberty to menopause. So all
Yes.
these factors put together make women as more vulnerable to develop mental health problems. D, depression and anxiety are the two most prevalent mental health issues. And E, please come forward and talk about it if you feel that you may be suffering from any of those problems that Dr. Apala has talked about in detail. So it was great having you with us, Dr. Apala.
Thank you.
We'll continue with our series on mental health in women, and we'll catch up with you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.